Good morning students, I am Mayank Tiwari. Today we will do test number 31 of the General Agriculture series. Let's start. So students, please write down numbers 1 to 10 and at last please evaluate your correct responses. Student question number 1. Process of heat transfer within liquid and gas resulting from motion of fluid. You have to tell what is this process called in which heat transfer within liquid and gas take place resulting from motion of fluid. Option A conduction, option B convection, option C radiation, option D none. So students, what will be the answer? The answer to this question will be convection. So student, one thing please remember that heat transfer in soil is mostly by the process of conduction. Please remember it students, heat transfer in soil is mainly by the process of conduction. Student, question number 2 you see, difference between the saturation vapor pressure and actual vapor pressure is known as. You have to tell what is the difference between saturation vapor pressure and actual vapor pressure known as. Option A vapor pressure deficit, option B relative humidity, option C specific humidity, option D absolute humidity. So student, these terms are very important. Specific humidity has a unit gram per kg, please remember it, and this relative humidity is measured in terms of percentage, and this absolute humidity is measured in terms of gram per meter cube, weight of water vapor upon volume of air, please remember it. And student, please remember it, this relative humidity is measured by psychrometer or hygrometer. This is very important. Relative humidity is measured by psychrometer or hygrometer, remember it. And the correct answer to this question was vapor pressure deficit, difference between the saturated vapor pressure and actual vapor pressure. And student, there is one more thing you have to remember. When the vapor pressure deficit is around or less than 1.5 kilopascal, the air is said to be humid. Please remember it also. When vapor pressure deficit is less than or equal to 1.5 kilopascal, air is said to be humid. And over 2.5 kilopascal, it is called dry air. If the vapor pressure deficit is more than 2.5 kilopascal, then the air is known to be dry. Please remember it. Student, question number 3 you see, rainy day that has more than 20 mm during the best month of showing of a particular crop. There is a particular term for it students. When there is a rainy day that has more than 20 millimeter rainfall during the best month for showing a particular crop, what is it known as? Option A showing rain, option B dry spell, option C wet spell, option D none. Student, these all terms are very important. I will tell you about them. So student, first see dry spell. Dry spell is a rainless day of more than 10 days for light soil. If the soil is light and if the rainless days are 10, rainless day of more than 10, it is known as dry spell. And if it is heavy soil and if rainless days are more than 15, then it is known as dry spell. For light soil, 10 days if rainfall does not happen, and if heavy soil condition 15 days rainfall does not happen, it is known as dry spell. Second is your dry spell is said to have broken if rainfall is received more than average evaporation during that period, please remember it. Then second is your wet spell. Wet spell are number of continuous rainy days more than 2. If there are more than 2 continuous rainy days, it is known as wet spell, please remember it. Rainy day, you all may be knowing if the rainfall received exceed more than 2.5 mm. And the question which I asked, rainy day that has more than 20 mm during the best month for showing a particular crop, it is known as showing rain, please remember it. Student, question number 4 you see, which of the following is used for worm seeding? Option A NaCl, option B AgI, option C CO2, option D none. Please students remember it, for worm seeding we use NaCl and for cold seeding we use AgI and CO2. Student, question number 5 you see, value of extinction coefficient for maize. Extinction coefficient, you might have read, there is one equation I will tell you. You have to tell what is the value of extinction coefficient for maize. Students, this question is very important and has been asked many times. Option A 0.84, option B 0.65, option C 0.7, option D none. So student, here is this equation, I is equal to I naught E raised to the power minus K LEI. This is known as BL law. Light interception increases with increase in leaf area index, please remember it. And where I is called in this equation, I is called light intensity at a point, I naught is equal to light intensity on the top of canopy, LAI is leaf area index, and K is extinction coefficient which I asked, and E is exponential constant. So various crop has various values of extinction coefficient. For rice, the value of extinction coefficient is 0.65. For maize, the value of extinction coefficient is 0.84. And for sorghum, the value of extinction coefficient is 0.7. Please students remember them. And student, extinction coefficient is also given like this. Extinction coefficient or rate at which light is being attenuated with increase in canopy is called extinction coefficient. Please remember it. The rate at which light is being attenuated with increase in canopy, it is called extinction coefficient. Please remember it. Student, here you see this question number 6. This is also very important. Mean temperature over base temperature. What is this known as? You have to tell what is this term known as. Mean temperature over base temperature. Option A, heat unit. Option B, photothermal unit. Option C, CV. Option D, none. So student, this mean term over base temperature, it is known as your heat unit or growing degree day. Average temperature minus base temperature. Please remember it, student. Average temperature minus base temperature is your growing degree day or heat unit. So option A is correct. And third option you see, CV. Standard deviation divided by mean into 100 is your coefficient of variation. Please remember it. Question number 7. Opening of flowers and shedding of pollen is called. Option A, anthesis. Option B, panicle initiation. Option C, maturity. Option D, maximum vegetative stage. You have to tell what is this term known as. Opening of flower and shedding of pollen. So student, please remember it also. This flowering stage. Flowering stage is reached when 50% of flowering has taken place. And this term, which I asked in the question, opening of flower and shedding of pollen, it is known as anthesis. Please remember it. And one term was panicle initiation. In one of the options I gave panicle initiation. What is panicle initiation? The primordial difference stage is called panicle initiation stage in cereal and millet, and panicle initiation stage is called squaring in cotton. Please remember. And flower bud initiation in sunflower. Panicle initiation stage or primordial differentiation stage is called flower bud initiation in sunflower. Please remember it. Student, question number 8 you see. Inverse yield nitrogen law is given by option A, Wilcox, option B, Mackey, option C, Michalek, option D, Blackman. There is one law, inverse yield nitrogen law. So student, in laws of plant growth, there are some important laws you have to remember. First is law of minimum. Law of minimum is given by Justus von Liebig. It is also known as barrel concept. And it states that growth of plant is directly proportional to the most limiting nutrient. Second is your Blackman law of optima and Blackman law of limiting factors. Please remember, students, if it is given law of minimum, tick Liebig. If it is given law of minimum factors, then tick Blackman. So Blackman gave his law in 1905, and this Liebig law of minimum you also remember. Somewhere it is given 1840, somewhere it is given 1862. So any of these answer can be correct, and Blackman law came in 1905. Law of optima and law of minimum factors. It states that when a process is conditioned as to its rapidity by a number of separate factors, the rate of process is limited by pace of slowest factor. So student, you all might have read chemical kinetics in class 12th. This is the same concept, that rate of reaction is directly proportional to the slowest reaction step. So it is same in case of Blackman law of optima. Michalek law of diminishing return. This Michalek equation is important. dy by dx is equal to a minus y into c. So in 1909 he gave this equation. He says that when plants are supplied with optimum amount of all but one limiting element, their growth is directly proportional to amount of this one limiting nutrient. So students, you do not have to go into very much deep. You just remembered Michalek equation, dy by dx is equal to a minus y into c. Or if you take log, it will be log a minus y is equal to log a minus cx. Sometimes this equation is also given. They ask which is this equation, so you take Michalek equation. Now coming to the answer, inverse nitrogen yield law, it was given by Wilcox in 1929. It states that power of growth or yielding ability of any crop plant is inversely proportional to the mean content in dry matter. Remember it. And there is one term, Mackey poverty adjustment. Mackey in 1936 proposed a relationship exists between sufficiency of nutrient and its percentage content in plant. This is known as Mackey poverty adjustment law. He states that when there is critical percentage of each nutrient in each kind of plant, he talks about a critical point. Above that point there is luxury consumption, and below this point there is poverty adjustment. This poverty adjustment is proportional to the deficiency until a minimum percentage is reached. So please students remember Mackey adjustment law. This is very important. And please remember the year also for Mackey, 1936, inverse nitrogen yield law 1929, Michellic equation 1909, Blackman law in 1905, and minimum law of Liebig law of minimum, it can be 1840 or 1862. Student question number 9, you see, unit of CGR, crop growth rate is option A, gram per meter square per day, option B, gram per day, option C, gram per day, option D, gram per meter square. Student, there are some ratios you have to remember. Most common parameter in growth analysis. First is your LAI, leaf area index. Leaf area index is equal to leaf area upon ground area. Please remember it. And absolute growth rate. Absolute growth rate. This is also asked. Who gave the leaf area index? Leaf area index was given by Watson, and its unit is unitless because both the areas are divided and cancelled. And absolute growth rate, it is given by West et al. At what rate crop is growing, whether the crop is growing at the faster rate or slower rate than normal. Absolute growth rate unit is gram per day. Then crop growth rate is given by Watson, rate of growth of crop per unit area and expressed in gram per meter square per day. Please remember it. And there is one term, relative growth rate. Relative growth rate equation was given by, the term relative growth rate was given by Fisher, and the equation was given by Blackman. So relative growth rate unit is gram per day. And this net assimilation rate was given by Grigori, and the unit is gram per meter square per day. So students, these terms are very important. Please try to remember them. There is also one term, students, harvest index. Harvest index was given by Donald, and it is the ratio of economic yield to biological yield. So students, that's all for today. I hope you will enjoy this video and it will be helpful to you. In case you find it helpful, please share it with fellow batchmates and juniors. And if you have any complaint with regard to video, please message me, or any suggestions you can tell me. Thank you. And please at last calculate your score also.